Hi, so the big story this week, at least to me, was looking at prices for August. We just got prices for August that the Phoenix house prices fell about $10,000 per month over the last 3 months. You can see here in the red line, it's actually fallen over 3 months, 35,000. But that's a pretty straight line going down 10,000. Will it continue? I mean, if it continued at that rate by November, December, it would be back to prices of a year ago. The other big story of the week is the number of homes that are listed for sale. The active listings is flattened out. It's essentially flat now. So, so let's go and click on this one. It'll take us over to the interactive. So click on this graph. Here we are. And this, the amount in the last week just went up slightly. So we have maxed out, and it's a lot higher than it was at the same time in 2018. So that's a lot. So you can see the let's scroll down to the bottom where we can see kind of what's going on with the story here. So we got when we first came into this, we got in May, June, we got a ton of extra new listings. The number of homes hitting the market was higher than usual, but then it came down to be more or less getting down to in August, it was getting lower. So we weren't having as many new listings hitting the market. But we did have here is that the number of solds has been kind of low since July and August. So first we had a bump in the number of new listings hitting the market, and that lasted for a couple of months, and then we had the number of sales going down. So now we're getting back to the number of homes hitting the market is not high anymore, but the sales is still low. But nevertheless, it's balancing out. So you can see over here that compared to last year, that the number of homes for sale has been flattening out here. Nevertheless, the number of homes under contract and the number of homes sold is might be flattening out here, but it's down quite a bit from a year ago. Okay, let's go do a quick tour of some of the tweets from last week. I hit 5,000 Twitter followers last week, which is pretty cool. And here's this one. I just wrote this. It surprised me. It says, real estate attorney says that about half. This is at a real estate Arizona Association of Realtors meeting I was at last week. Real estate attorney says that about half his phone calls these days are disputes about buyers canceling contracts. So you're under contract and then you change your mind. How do you get out of it? If it should, there's lots of ways to get out of a contract in a standard contract. But you got to meet the deadlines. You can't do it the day before it closes. But there's usually a 10-day inspection period, which you can cancel pretty easily anytime during those 10 days. Of course, if you waive those inspections, that 10-day inspection, that would be a problem. And this just gives you an idea that I pulled this data that the total number of showings was down 24% for August, and the number of showings per house is down 42% for August compared to the previous August. This one was interesting. This is from apartments.com. There's lots of different data sources and they vary a little bit. But this shows that rents between June and July went down in Phoenix by a slight amount. And here's a different source of data. This is Apartment List, not apartments.com. And it shows that rents are up 35% since March, but only up 2% in the last 6 months. So obviously the momentum of increasing rents in Phoenix is gone. Now the big question is, will they start to fall? This is about the number of investors who bought single family houses. This one data set, CoreLogic, says invested about 37% of all single family houses in Phoenix in the first quarter of 2022. Oh my gosh. Now there's lots of different numbers on this because how you define an investor changes from one place to another, but holy mackerel, that's enormous. Speaking of rentals, this is the number of evictions. Obviously, there was eviction moratoriums, and now it's getting back to normal, and is it going to go higher? And the question is, when you have these evictions hitting the market, what effect does that have on rents? Because now those evicted units are supply for other renters, so that would put some downward pressure on rents in Phoenix. And I think this is a really good explanation of why the real estate prices have increased so much in Phoenix. Is we just have a lot of people moving in to Arizona. Obviously, California is a big one, but that's the main reason rents and home prices are high. Okay, it's not the main reason. It's a big reason. And this shows you the employment. This is a nice visual to show you the employment growth, the change in employment, and it's gone up a lot. It's interesting that LA, obviously, we're just a part of the LA market in a way, that the employment there has increased, even though maybe the people have been moving out. Nevertheless, employment is increasing there. And finally, here's my humble brag. I have these others data that I update for Case-Shiller, which I updated last week or last Tuesday on my other website is where those are. That's realestateDakota.com. And total, I have dozens and dozens of these Tableau graphs, but in total, I've had about 2.5 million views over the years, which is kind of cool. And don't forget to scroll down to see the interactive version of these charts. Oh, you can scroll down and click on these to go to the interactive version of these charts. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it. Take care.